Hey guys, today we're going to be using laws of logs to solve equations. So we're going to look at this property here. We have if the log base b of m is equal to the log base b of n, then the arguments are equal to each other. Notice that the bases have to be the same in order to do this. Okay, so here's one that's set up. We have a log on the left and a log on the right. So notice the bases are the same. Okay, so just like that other property that we learned about, where we had a base raised to an exponent equals a base raised to an exponent. Remember that the bases were the same. So when we did that, we could cancel those out and we could put the exponents equal to each other and then solve. Same thing applies here with this property. So we can actually cancel out both of these. Now, just so you know that I'm actually doing math and I'm not just canceling here. What I'm doing here to cancel the log base 7s on both sides is I'm actually raising both of these logs. I'm raising this log to base 7, and I'm raising this one to the base as well. Okay, so why will that cancel that out? Okay, the reason why that will cancel out is because the bases, these are inverses of each other. Log base 7 and an exponential base of 7, those are inverses of each other, so they cancel each other out. 7 to the first power is 7. Okay, so 1, that cancels both of those out. So now we just have the argument m, that's this one, equal to the other argument, which would represent n in this case. Now some of you are still struggling with solving equations like this. Remember that when solving, we want to isolate the x, which means we have to cancel one of these out. Okay, I prefer to cancel out the smaller one. And the reason being is because that makes x positive every single time. So canceling out the smaller one, or I shouldn't say every single time, but much of the time. So notice that my x is positive. Okay, and then we add 12, divide by 5. So 17/5. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. Well, notice it's not quite set up the way we need it to be set up in order to cancel out the logs. Okay, notice that we have this 3 going on here. Now, be very, very, very careful. You might think you can divide both sides by 3, but you can't. This is an argument, and this number here, this 27, goes with this whole logarithm. Okay, you can't just get rid of, you just cannot divide it by 3. What you have to do is you have to move it up as an exponent. Okay, and now we have it in the form that we want. So see how the base is 2? So in order to cancel this log out, we have to raise this log to base 2, raise this log to base 2, and then they'll cancel out. Set the arguments equal to each other. Now, let's do the math, okay? So how do we cancel out the third power? That's correct, we do the third root. Roots cancel out powers. Powers cancel out roots. They're inverses of each other. So we're doing the third root on both sides. So x is going to be equal to the third root of 27, which is 3. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Now, I haven't been doing this, but remember that we should be checking to make sure it works in the problem. If I plug a 3 in for x, it's positive, it'll work. If I plug that in for x, in both cases, you should get positive answers here. So we're good. All right, number 3. So again, to reiterate, in order to use this property, and that's what we're learning how to do here, is we're learning how to use this property here, we have to have a log on the left and a log on the right. Okay? So notice we have a log on the left, so the left is good. Okay? Here we have to consolidate. Okay? So we're going to have to consolidate this. Remember that when consolidating or condensing, we have to first move any exponents up on top. Okay, so that 2 moves up on top. Okay, and then adding means to, right, multiply. So we're going to condense those to log base 2. 3 squared is 9, and then 9 times 5 is 45. Okay, base 2 on both sides, cancel out the logs, so x equals 45. And if I plug 45 back in, it works. Okay, on to number 4. Consolidate. We're subtracting, so that means we're going to divide. Should have had you guys do this one. This one's easy. Alrighty. Why don't you finish this one? That's a good idea. Finish that one up. See if you can get the answer right. Okay, number 5. We have addition, so we're going to condense those two down. We're going to have log base 7 of x squared, because we're adding, so we multiply the arguments. Okay, subtracting, so to condense these, we're going to end up dividing. Remember, when solving logs, it's helpful to make sure you condense if possible. Okay? Alright. Do the base 7 on both sides to cancel out the logs. Alright. Setting the arguments equal to each other. Notice that whenever I'm dealing with a fraction and an integer, I always put the integer over 1. So that way I'm dealing with two fractions. We have a proportion here. Remember, to solve a proportion, we cross multiply. So x squared times 1. Then we put the equal sign next. Cross multiply the other way. And then we just solve. Now remember, solving, when you're square rooting, when solving, don't forget plus or minus 6, the plus and minus. But having said that, one of these answers will not work. So what I want you to do is plug in here the correct or the right answer. So one of these answers is right, and one of them is extraneous. You decide. Okay, so I'm going to be looking for that, and I'm going to be looking for that one. Number 6. No problem. Just doing some condensing. Always remember to bring your exponents up on top first before you condense. And actually, hold on one second here. I'm going to do this. Like the sound effects, Cody? I wonder if you're listening to this video. Cody Kreider, shout out. Yeah, hopefully you watch this video because you're always wanting a shout out. So there it is. All right, now consolidating here, subtraction. I'm going to go ahead and do the square root here, do the square here. Yeah, hopefully you followed that. Base 2 on both sides. Let's go ahead and solve this proportion, cross multiply. So 2x minus 1 times 4. Cross multiply. 6 times x plus 5. And I'll let you finish that one. Yay. See you guys in class on Monday. Hope you're having a good weekend.